Hey everyone, it's Gabriel here again. You've probably heard that content is king. Creating content is key to your long-term branding for your business in a social media world. But the problem is that planning, writing, producing content is easier said than done, especially when there's so many social media platforms and if you have to create content specific to that platform, such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and many more. So in this video, I want to share with you my strategy for creating 1 year's worth of content for all social media platforms in just under 30 days. We're also entering into a new year, so this will be one of the best time for you to plan out an entire year worth of content in just 30 days. So before I dive into it, I would highly appreciate an early thumbs up for this video, as the content that I'm going to share with you for free is something that other marketers would charge thousands of dollars for. And if you want to see more marketing videos on how to generate more customers for your business, do consider subscribing to my channel. So first of all, I want to give some quick credit for this strategy. I didn't come up with this strategy. This strategy has been around for the longest time, but the first time I learned it was from a marketer called Brandon Bashar. And later on, I learned it from one of my friends, Peng Jun, which he has a very similar strategy called a content multiplier formula. So in order for us to create 1 year worth of content for all social media platforms in just under 30 days, there's one key thing that you need to understand, and that is repurposing. So if you try to create a content for YouTube itself, and you try to create a content for Facebook itself, you try to create content for Instagram by itself, what will happen is that you'll be spending time individually to create content for each of these platforms, and that takes up too much time. For example, if you're trying to create a YouTube video, it may take you 3 hours, and then if you're trying to create a Facebook video, it may take you another 1 hour, and if you're trying to create an Instagram video by itself, it may take you another hour, and then TikTok, there'll be another 1 hour. So in total, you'll be spending 6 hours. But what if I told you that you can actually spend just 3 hours, half the time, to create content for all platforms? And again, the 3 hours is subjective depending on how fast you are creating content. So it'll take me about an hour to 2 hours to do a video like this, and this video will be usually about 10 to 20 minutes long. So they're usually longer form content. And after that, what my team will do is, and if you don't have a team, you can actually outsource this. And what we will do is we will take that content, this 10 minutes to 20 minutes video, we will then chop it up into multiple smaller content for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms. And so that's what repurposing does. You're taking something, a content that is meant for one platform, and you are repurposing it into another platform. And therefore, you don't have to spend all the time to recreate a content specific for that platform. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about how do you repurpose the content, and that's actually a proper process of repurposing content for all your social media platforms. Alright, so I'm going to use my whiteboard here and share with you how do you repurpose content. So the first thing you want to do is to create long form content, because long form content can be chopped up into short form content. So here's an example. If I were to create a 30 minutes video, okay, maybe a 30 minutes to an hour video, okay, to an hour video. What happened is that now, if this is a video form, right? If this is a video, what I can do right now is to turn this video form into multiple small content. So I can actually chop it up, because in a 30-minute video, there will usually be small little nuggets of stuff that you can share. So if it's a 30-minute video, I can probably chop this up into multiple 3-minute video. Okay, multiple form of 3-minute videos. Okay, that I can then use it to upload into other platforms that suits shorter form content. And ultimately, I can also chop up this 3-minute video and take out just certain words of wisdom or certain quotes that I've said in the video, and turn it into a shorter form, such as a 1-minute video content for platforms that suits even shorter form content, so such as YouTube Shorts and TikTok, and of course Instagram feed right now. So that's the general idea. Creating a long form content will allow you to chop up this content into shorter form content, and therefore you're able to re-upload into multiple platforms. So you want to think first from a longer form video. But if you do it from a short form video, for example, if you're planning for just a 1-minute video, it's much harder for you to then use that 1-minute video to post it on other platforms. So always think from a form of a long form video, and then from there chop it up into smaller videos. And so one of the things I recognize when I learned about this is that I've been posting on places like Facebook and Instagram for the longest time, but I realized that if I want to be able to maximize my content and repurpose them, I need to be able to create a long form content video. And that's the reason why I started doing YouTube, because YouTube favors videos that are anything more than 10 minutes long. Okay, so generally speaking, Facebook videos, if you see videos on Facebook, they're usually about 2, 3, maybe maximum 5 minutes long. Same thing for Instagram. But for YouTube, it is usually about at least 10 minutes long or even longer than that. And then places like TikTok is 1 minute, and of course now there's YouTube Shorts, and there's like Instagram Reels, which is also about a minute long. So what you want to do is to plan from YouTube perspective, because YouTube favors videos that are longer, long form content. So there's about 10, 20, 30 minutes video. And then when you have recorded a video on YouTube, you can then chop it up into different forms for other platforms. Now, one of the things that I first started doing is this. And this is actually a quick tip for you. If you want to be able to create long-term video, you don't necessarily have to do all the video yourself. You don't necessarily have to put on the camera and talk for 30 minutes straight. It is not easy for people to do that, especially if you are new to this game. So one of the things that I did at the beginning, and something I really recommend people to start, is to do interview videos. So what I mean by that, that means instead of you talking, you create an interview show and you bring people on to talk about a certain topic or subject. So if you are in the business of, let's say you're in financial planning, right? Financial planning is not your business. You are in the business of helping your customers or your clients create more wealth. So what you want to do is to bring on guest speakers that can talk about wealth creation, guest speakers that can talk about wealth accumulation, wealth preservation, anything that can add value to your listeners, your clients in terms of wealth building, right? So you can invite this special guest. And what happens is that when you invite this special guest, you can do a 30-minute video, okay? 30-minute video to 45-minute interview, okay? Up to an hour long, okay? Generally, 30 minutes to 45 minutes is the sweet spot here. And you can actually do a simple interview video, okay? And you see, the best part about this is that in the past, I have to, have an actual studio, and I have to record all this video from a studio. I have to invite people down, and I have to set up lightings and all that kind of stuff. But today is so much easier because you can just do an interview on Zoom, and you can literally just record whatever that is being interviewed on Zoom, and then later on you can upload the entire recording as a long form content on places like YouTube. So if you look at some of my older videos on my YouTube channel, that's how I first started out. I have a long form video, which is an interview video. And it was usually at a studio that we have to set up. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. But recently, when I started interviewing people, it's all on Zoom, right? Because of the pandemic, everyone is now online, and everyone accepts, going into calls and doing interviews on Zoom because people were stuck at home. And then we realized that this is so much easier, right? Because we don't have to leave house, and we can just do a call straight on Zoom, and we can even use that and upload the entire thing as a video content. So what you want to do is to do a video interview, and that will take about 30 to 40 minutes. And the best part about video interview is that you don't necessarily have to come up with the content yourself, right? You're just simply asking questions to people, and they are the one talking rather than you talking. There are also many other factors of having an interview show, and one of it is that you actually get to connect with people that you really want to learn from. You can actually talk to people and ask questions from people that you really want to learn from. So when I first started my interview show, I didn't start it out because I just wanted to create content, but I started out because I wanted to interview people that I was interested in, and I wanted to ask questions from these people about what makes them work, and why are they successful, and how did they achieve the success that they've achieved, so that I can replicate myself. So it's more like own personal learning, but because it is an interview show, it is recorded, I can use it as a content as well. What you can do once again is do a video recording of interview, and the best part is that now you can turn this video interview and you can extract the audio, and now the audio becomes a podcast. So once again, we talk about repurposing, right? So if you do it in the form of video, you can then upload as a video, and you can upload as a audio content. And podcast is getting more and more popular nowadays. You can easily create your own podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and it's really easy. It's just simply registering an account with Spotify and Apple, and you can simply upload your podcast up there. And of course, you gotta do some chopping up, editing to do, but the general idea is that if you record it in the form of video, long form video, you can then repurpose it into audio form. And then what you can do now is you can even send it to places like ref.com and get it transcribed. So you don't necessarily have to do the transcription yourself. You can upload it to places like ref.com, and you can just pay $10 to $20 to do a transcription of a 30-minute and 1 hour long content. If you really want to do it for free, when you upload to YouTube, okay, YouTube generally do an auto caption, and you can download the auto caption from YouTube, and then it is basically a transcription. Although it's not as good as ref.com because you really get what you pay for, but at least it's free. You just need to do some simple editing, and you can upload the entire transcript into a blog. So that's the next part, is written form. So as you can see right now, okay, what I simply did was to record a video content, a long form video content, and the long form video content can be repurposed into audio and then into blogs. Now, if you ask me, why do I want to do that, right? Why do I want to upload something that is video form and then to audio form and then to a written form? The reason is because when you upload to multiple platforms, you actually reach out to different groups of people. Some people prefer watching video to learn something. Some people prefer listening to podcasts, and some people prefer reading. Like for myself, I usually prefer reading than to watch a long form video. So it's more of a personal preference, but if you are everywhere, then you get to reach out to different groups of people. Okay, so once you have done that, right, what you can do now is that, okay, so I'm gonna put this down. All right, so because you've done a long form video, you can now repurpose that video into audio, which is a podcast, and then you can transcribe the entire thing, using YouTube Caption or rap.com and turn it into a blog in written form. Now, what you can do is you can take that long form video and you can chop it out into short 3 to 5 minutes video. Okay, and so you can chop it out to 3 to 5 minutes video, because in the interview itself, in a 30 to 45 minute interview itself, you probably talk about different topics, right? Like for example, when I interview my guests, we usually have about 5 to 7 questions, and each question has a point or a moral story that we're trying to teach in that interview itself. So what we can actually do is to chop out each part of the learning and post it on different platforms, such as our social media platform like Instagram and Facebook. So if you look at my Facebook and my Instagram, is literally a repurposing of all the things that I've done on my YouTube and my podcast, which I did previously. And we are just simply chopping it down into multiple forms of content. So this way, I'm actually creating content for all platforms just by doing one thing, okay? And then lastly, you can actually chop it out into one minute video. And this is something that my team and I were working on right now. And this is something that you can post on places like there's YouTube Shorts, there's TikTok, and there is Instagram Reel. So you can literally take that 3 to 5 minutes video, and sometimes your guest will say something or you will say something that there are words of wisdom, right? There are like good quotes that you can extract, and what you can do is then add in a subtitle on this quote and put it as a 1 minute video. So simply by doing this alone, just by doing one interview video, you can actually chop it out into multiple forms of content for multiple platforms, for multiple social media, and multiple form of content such as audio, written, and long form and short form. So how do you plan out one whole year of content in just 30 days? So there's 2 ways to do it. You can either squeeze everything into a 30 days and create all the content in 30 days, or you can actually split up and just chunk it down into a once a week or twice a week kind of thing. So let me just give you an example right now. So for example, for me, every video that I do on YouTube, I do 1 video a week on YouTube. Takes me about 2 to 3 hours for 1 video. And then because that 1 video can be repurposed into multiple platforms, all I gotta do is to focus on creating that one content, which is for YouTube. So if you were to do an interview video, so let's say a 30-40 minutes interview video, let's say it's an interview show and you're inviting people. If you are just interviewing one person a week, okay, and of course, again, you can do it all on Zoom, which makes it so much more easier. And it will probably take you about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours to do the planning, to do the recording. And then if you were to outsource or if you do the editing yourself, interview video is not hard to edit. So it will probably take you another hour. In total, about 3 hours per week if you do one interview a week. So one interview a week for one whole year, that will be about 52 days or 52 interviews. And if you take about 3 hours per interview, that will add up to about 156 hours or so. And if you divide that by 8 hours a day, that will only take you about 19 days. So and that's the reason why this is something that is less than 30 days work. For some people, they will prefer to interview 5 people at one go within a week and then use that and start repurposing them into multiple contents for the next few months. I personally prefer to chunk it down and do it just once a week. So today I don't do interview shows anymore. That's what I recommend people to start off. But I would still do at least one YouTube video every single week, just like this one. Again, the planning, the writing, and the shooting will probably take me about 2 hours to 3 hours. And then what's next is that my team will then take this and they will start repurposing it to multiple platforms. Now, if you don't have a team, you can still do it yourself without spending a lot of resources, because the hardest part is always the planning and recording and then the rest is really just chopping it down and editing your video. Another way you can actually cut short your time is to outsource it to places like Freelancer or Fiverr.com. You can actually find video editors there, and you can work with them on a long-term basis, so you don't have to pay them per video. Usually per video, they might charge you $10, $20, even $30 per video, which is very affordable. But you can actually work with them on a longer-term solution where you can offer them a sort of more certainty, where you can pay them a certain amount every single month, and they would, edit 4 videos for you, 4 long form videos for you, and chop it down into multiple short form videos. So that's something that you can arrange, and that will greatly help you to reduce the time and effort needed for you to do your own editing. Now, if you know how to do your own editing, that's something that you can do yourself, and you will realize that it doesn't take you as much time as you think you would. So that's it, a quick summary for this video. Repurpose content so that you can multiply resources and time. You don't have to create a video each for each platform. Always start from a long form content, because a long form content can be edited into multiple short form content. And if you can, always do it in a video form, because a video form can be repurposed into audio content, and it can be repurposed into a written content. Lastly, you can always pack a bunch of interviews together within a 5-10 days period, and then pass everything to your editors, and that means you'll be able to create about 3 months to 6 months of content in just a 10-day period. Or you can do it like me, where you can do one long form video every single week, and then chop that one long form video into multiple contents for your other platforms. So I hope that you've gained something from this video. Let me know what's your biggest takeaway from this video in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, because it will greatly help support this channel. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. So that's all I have for you today. Bye for now.